shallow woman wants, it's a rich man. Like a quality woman wants to build it with him.
Yes.
And I think that's
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah. You know, God is a God of timing. Everything falls at the right time. So it's crazy how it started for you before you met her.
Like if that didn't happen, like we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
No.
A woman saying nowadays for their man to lead them is not normal. For real? Is this like the first? Well, all right, guys, welcome to another episode of Love Cashflow. Today we are in San Diego. My boy Chris is making moves as we're recording, which I love. And we have today my boy Chris Luna and Tessa Nelson, my wife, obviously, Jenny. And we're going to just have fun, talk. They're in a different stage of love and cash flow. So we're just going to talk about whatever we, whatever comes up. This is one of the things that I love about doing things like this, where we just chop it up, catch up, talk. It just ends up being about love or cash flow in some way, shape, or form. So that's what I love about this. And yeah, because you guys are like in a new stage, I guess, in different things. And obviously we're kind of veterans in this thing, kind of in a way. We've been married 7 years. You know, we've had businesses, even though you guys have your own thing, which we obviously want to learn about and know more about. So, just first off, like, introduce yourselves. That would be great.
So I'm Chris Luna from On the Come Up podcast.
Let's go.
Multifamily ADU guy here in San Diego.
Shameless freaking plug. Let's go.
And
we're in his house, so it's your rules.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And me and Ivan, we met back at WealthCon September, a year ago, I remember.
Yeah.
We were at some like after party event. We were talking about content and creating, and back then I had started nothing. But I'll dive into that later.
All right, I'm Tess. I work for Ryan Pineda, so I've been in sales. That's where I met all of you guys.
Yeah.
We met in Cabo. I met Chris, I met you, I met Jenny, all in Cabo, which is super cool, on a work trip, vacation work trip, which is super fun.
So fun.
I live in Ohio, and I'm currently getting my real estate license. So
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Real estate license,
Yeah.
new
We're
things.
gonna start doing deals in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Let's go. But I do hear that you're like a killer in sales. Am I right or what?
Some people would say that,
Humble brag. Some people, a.k.a. Ryan Pineda. He told me straight from his mouth. He said, Tesla's a killer, bro, when it comes to sales. I love that.
Yeah.
I've never really, I take that back. There was one girl that she was in my sales team when I worked at Allstate, my 9 to 5, and I was a manager. And she was a beast. Like, she was like outselling all of us.
Man.
And I was like, dude, this chick is awesome. And then she was, like regular, you would never know. But it's just it's kind of cool, because I believe one of those things is that when you're good at sales, you're pretty much good at anything, because you're already good at like taking rejection, your opposition, like getting your way. Like, I love that. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm a little biased because I come from the sales world. Yeah. So that's awesome.
No, I would agree with that in regards to sales. Jenny, you want to say something?
I'm not a salesperson at all, like, whatsoever. So
She doesn't
that's
like
really
sales.
cool.
Yeah.
To do that.
So let's get to it. Normally what I like to do, and by normally I mean the last couple of times that we've had these podcasts, you obviously you guys have heard of the game Truth or Dare.
Yes.
So I like to say, okay, cash flow, love or cash flow. So we get to talk about whichever topic first that you guys want.
Okay.
I'll let you guys decide
Flip a
which
coin.
one.
Let's flip a coin.
Let's flip a coin.
So
Let's make it interesting.
heads, love, tails, cash flow.
There we
Okay. Wow, we have options.
More pines. Oh, looks like cash flow or cash flow. Okay. So heads is what?
Love.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Love. Destiny has spoken. Love. Well,
Love when that happens.
the puns are everywhere. Let's go. So, all right, let's get to it. I think that it's awesome to have seen you guys kind of just meet, right? Like, it's funny because we all hung out for the first time technically in Cabo. You guys met each other for the first time in Cabo. And you guys are on this, I think like an awesome stage. Because I remember like reminiscing back to when we first hung out type of thing. It was just amongst friends type of thing, and how things developed. And we were taking our time. So just, I guess, tell us first, like, how did you guys meet? Like, how was that interaction at first type of thing?
Yeah.
I would love to hear it from both of your perspectives.
I always get the mic time, so I'll let you start.
Come on,
you just wanted to
convenient.
go first.
Like,
Let's go.
I talk for a living. So
Oh my gosh. So I met Chris first time was at one of the pool parties in Cabo.
I think you back it up a little bit.
Oh, that's actually true. That's not the first time we met. We realized we've actually met each other
Multiple
not several
times
times,
over the
but
last
almost.
year.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Really?
without realizing it was us. And so anyways, but the first time I remember it was actually you, is that we had a Zoom call where he was like student of the year for the wealthy creator.
Okay.
And so Brian had him hop on one of our team meetings, and Brian was asking him questions, and Brian was like, beforehand, Brian was like, hey, if you guys have any questions for these students to like get good answers, like go ahead and ask them, right? So like he hops on, Brian asks a couple questions, and I'm like, I want to go a little bit deeper. And so I started like reeling him with questions, and that was our first meeting on a team meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll
No,
add-
not at first, but yeah.
I'll add to that. After we got off the Zoom call, I go on Instagram and I type in Tess. I think it said Tess Blake. And I'm like,
yeah.
it was private, so I didn't add her. But I was like, who's this girl? Who's this girl asking me all these questions? And I was intrigued. I was like, oh,
Right.
she asks some really good questions. I've
Yeah.
never seen her around like the Pineda camp.
Yeah.
So that was the first encounter.
Yes.
It's crazy how intrigue is usually because that's what happened with me and her. Like intrigue is what motivates us to find out like what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little different, our story, but it started with that intrigue
Yeah.
first.
You
But
guys met at church, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Miami?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Miami. Yeah.
Very
Okay.
nice.
So I'll give that quick little story
Yeah,
before
yeah,
we move.
yeah.
So the intrigue came about because I was like kind of somewhat new to my walk, right, in my Christian walk, and I'm someone who never dreams. Like till this day, it's rare if I ever dream. And I had a dream where it was like literally, it probably happened 5 minutes time because all the dream was me sitting on a bench, and it was kind of like sunset-ish, right? And I was sitting down, and Jenny was on the same bench, but a little bit far. And in the dream, all she did was scoot over to me. And then I woke up. And then that's when the intrigue, I was like, God, what are you trying to tell me like right now? Because number one, I never dream. I'm like seeking God more than ever before in this time period. So like I knew he was talking to me in a dream
And
for
it
the
was
first time
specific.
ever.
It was like
and it was
someone
her.
that you knew.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, I had we knew each other. We hung out with the same group of friends. But
Yeah.
mind you, our group of friends was like 10 people
Oh my God,
plus
it was
all
like-
the time.
yeah.
So it's not like we had individual interactions to where
Yeah.
it
Right.
made that happen. But that's how it happened, like that intrigue. It
Yeah.
goes
That's
deeper.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's super
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys, did this Zoom call. You guys, that was the first, I guess, interaction altogether.
Yep.
And then what?
Then Cabo. So I didn't know he was coming to Cabo, or is there something else?
Was there something prior to that?
Yes, someone introduced us at a wealth con.
Justin Brigado introduced us at WealthCon and me to your brother, but we
Yeah.
don't really have a recollection of it. We just remember being in Ryan's office and like meeting. I just remember
Yeah.
someone named Tessa, but it was
Yeah.
like quick.
Got
But
it.
so we didn't
Probably
know
working.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But the official first
Officially-
interaction.
Okay, now we're getting that present day time.
Yeah.
Cabo,
That was Cabo.
at the Red
Pool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Red
Okay,
Pool party.
I remember.
How long ago was this?
That
Just
was
for-
June.
That was in
3 months ago.
3
months ago.
Yeah, in
Okay.
June.
It was
June,
June?
June
Yeah.
17th around 2 o'clock.
No.
Let's go. You got the clock ticking
Yeah.
somewhere.
1:56. Yeah.
Hey, then you're like me.
Yeah.
I'm such a date person.
Yeah, she's
Like,
beast with the numbers.
I know exactly when we started,
Wow.
Yeah.
what the first day, everything. Like I know.
And I'm
good
horrible
with
at it,
dates.
so
Yeah.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
really good at
Yeah.
that.
You guys balance each other out.
Yeah.
For real. Okay, so what happened then? Like at the pool party?
If you've been wanting to start an Airbnb business but don't know how or where to start, I've made a brand new mini course condensing our most recent 6-hour-long workshop into a jam-packed starter course. In this 7-day starter course, you'll learn the problems and mistakes I see rookies make when starting their Airbnb business, my 3 pillars of success, namely how to scout and pitch landlords to let you rent their properties to then list them on Airbnb, instead of having to spend thousands of dollars on getting started by buying a property, my Airbnb price strategy overview, which like me can help you make over $1 million on Airbnb alone, my automation process, which will give you the time freedom and allow you to work on your business instead of in your business. I'll guide you step by step through setting up your very own Airbnb account and mock listing to have ready for your first property. And lastly, I'll show you how to add the same guest message templates I've refined over the years for both quick replies and scheduled messages to effectively communicate with guests. And on top of all of the jam-packed education, I'm also throwing in my Prohost profit calculator, access to Airbnb's earnings potential tool, my house rules templates, my my Amazon shopping list, my Prohost budgeting tool, and more. This education derives from 3 years of running a profitable Airbnb business, automating it to where it runs itself. If applied, these can help you instantly get partnerships with landlords and turn a passion for real estate investing into an extra income or even a full-time business. Students who have taken this starter course have claimed that they've learned more in these 3 hours of content than they did scavenging for answers in the internet. But no, we're not going to charge you thousands of dollars like others would. You can join today for just $27. So click the link below to sign up and get instant access to everything, apply what you learned, and get immediate step-by-step guidance and your mock listing set up or your money back. I'll see you there.
So she was walking out of the pool, and I was walking in, and I was like, I missed my opportunity to talk to her. But then I saw her walking in again and then me out. I was like, oh, I'm going to say hi to her. So I pulled her to the side. I said hi. I was like, wait, you're the girl from Zoom. And we just start chatting it up.
Yeah.
That was like the first time we ever talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Brandon came over because a group of them were going to go sailing, or not? Yeah, sailing
On the boat.
Sailing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
On the boat,
I remember.
Yeah. And I was still standing next to you when we were chatting.
It was me, you, and Ryan.
Ryan was there too.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
But I
he was.
remember
He was.
That's right.
Yep.
and then you're like, oh, do you want to come? And that was going to be the next morning. So I was like, sure, like I'm down.
Yeah.
And so then that's when we went sailing, and that's when we really actually got to like meet, like not meet, but like get to know each other more. Was sailing.
Right.
Yep.
And then, do you want to tell the rest?
I got stung by a jellyfish that day.
Oh, I
Oh,
remember
I
that
heard about
story.
that.
Yes.
I remember that.
Got really dehydrated. Got a little too drunk. And
Were
so,
you
yeah.
freaking out?
Yeah.
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 About getting stung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
Yeah. I
have
was
a
like,
photo of it. I just was like, oh, that's cool.
While he's suffering.
yeah.
I
Basically.
remember when you guys got back, we were chilling at the pool, and it was, I guess, after you guys got back from all of that, and you told me, I'm like, okay, Tessa, did you pee on him or not?
Yeah. I asked her to. She politely declined. Yeah.
Politely
I
did.
So we're
Yeah,
not at
yeah,
that
yeah.
level yet.
Did you
We're
say
not
that?
there.
I think you did say
Did
that.
I say that?
Or maybe
I don't
you're
know.
thinking it.
Probably.
I was probably thinking it. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you told me that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that so obviously Chris, he had that intrigue from the Zoom call, right? And then obviously he knew you were already there, so he's like,
Yeah.
I gotta somehow say hi to her at least.
Yeah.
But what was your mind at this whole time? Do you remember him from the Zoom call or no?
So I didn't remember him at first, but then when he said, "Oh, you're from the Zoom call," then I was like, "Oh, that triggered it for me." And then I will say it took me a little bit when I met him, I was like, oh, he's cool, but I just wasn't thinking much of it. Like,
Right.
I didn't know if we shared faith and all this different stuff. So I was just like, And, but I was having fun and enjoying getting to meet new people.
Yeah.
And, but we kept texting. We kept,
Every day.
every day
since we
after
met.
Cabo.
Oh my gosh.
He officially took me on a date at WealthCon.
WealthCon?
In
Oh
July.
my God.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she knew it was a date going
Really?
into it.
I didn't really
You got
know
okey
for
doked
sure.
into the date.
Took her 50 minutes north to some ATV riding.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, he didn't tell me what we were doing. He's like, oh, we'll hang out on Friday. And then Thursday night comes along, and he officially calls it a date. And so I'm like, okay.
I had a whole day planned.
It's sunk in.
There you go.
It's sunk
Yeah.
in. I was like, oh, this is a date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Because you
And,
never
and
perceived it to be a date? Is that what?
I don't know. I just go around thinking that, I'm not going to assume someone's into me until
Yeah,
they
yeah.
tell me.
Got
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
I got you.
I was going into it like,
a
oh,
girl
this is a date.
Is that a
Yeah.
girl thing?
Is
though,
it a
babe?
girl thing, Jenny?
I don't know. I guess it's just at least the way it processes is I don't let it because then I don't want to get my hopes up. I guess
Okay.
if
Yeah.
there's an
Yeah.
attraction or I feel like okay, he's good looking, I'm digging him, then
Yeah.
sure. But then let me just
Yeah.
pull back
Pump the brakes a
bit.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be realistic, I guess,
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Right, because everybody flirts,
Right.
We
Right.
don't really know what people's intentions.
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
Now I remember that same day though. There was we were going to breakfast in Cabo,
Yeah.
and then you were there. I was like, "Oh, join us for breakfast."
Oh my God, yeah, that's where we
And
met.
That's where we met.
That's
Yeah.
where you guys met. And then I remember I was like, "Sit with us. I have to go."
Yeah.
It kind of works out because I have to go to a meeting for Tykes, and then you guys ended
Yeah.
up talking.
Yeah.
Was it Tice or golf?
Tykes. It was a Tykes meeting.
Okay.
Tykes sports
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious because I never even asked you. Did
No,
you guys
I
talk
think-
about
oh my God,
guys
we
and
talked
stuff like
so
that?
much,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because it was just the main topic that
For
we
real?
spoke.
Like-
yeah, even
Yeah.
you were there for a while, and then you left, and we just stayed talking.
We talked about
Yeah.
marriage. We talked
Yeah,
about- Not in
everything.
pertaining to Chris, but just
Right.
pertaining
No,
to
just
life.
in
Because
general.
this was pre red pool, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would have.
So none of that happened.
Was it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it
So,
was.
yeah,
wow.
it would have been before.
Yeah.
It was before.
She set you up in essence.
See that?
I just kidding. She set you up.
Oh, yeah.
You were top of mind. Okay. So
Yeah, I
what did
remember.
you guys
It was
talk
a good conversation.
Yeah.
And I got to know you, and it was really cool. I mean, love has always been a favorite subject of mine.
Cash flow has been a subject of mine.
So the combo.
There you go.
So, I mean, I think it's always good to share at least our experience or
Yeah.
my experience as a woman in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to share it with others,
Yeah.
like other women that are single,
Yeah.
I'm so open to it. You know, like
She loves it.
I love it.
It's like I'm more than open to it.
Yeah.
I will say, it's so funny because I knew exactly, like, when I met you, I was like, okay, I can talk to this woman, this girl
Yeah.
about, like, anything advice-wise. I was like, I feel like I need to ask her for advice.
Aw.
So I think you just come across
Yeah.
that way
Yeah.
as, like, a female mentor. Because I think when we were sitting at the table, I directly asked you, like,
Yeah.
hey, so how did you and
Yeah.
Ellen meet? And I started, like, that conversation, and you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
totally,
yeah.
like, because I wanted your advice.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted
That's
your thoughts.
super cool. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I think
That is crazy.
I'm not one to really talk. I'm not even like a talkative person, but when you ask me the questions and you put me in that position
Yeah,
of
that's when she
stuff,
loves it.
especially that I love,
You can go on.
You can go.
Yeah.
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 I'll go.
Because the thing is that a lot of people don't know, but Jenny was like a mentor to like what at the peak? How many girls?
Oh my God. I mean,
And
if
from our
if-
church in Miami.
Yeah.
10, 15
Official,
girls?
like 15, but then I was a leader in the dance team, so I led like
30 girls or something like that.
like collectively throughout the years, like 100.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously
Yeah.
hot topics are
Yeah.
boys
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and love
Yeah.
and marriage and kids and all
Yeah.
these different
Yeah, yeah,
things,
yeah.
right? But these are girls that are in different stages of life. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about as
Teenagers.
young as what, 10?
Teenagers,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
To all the way like
So-
grown women. So,
Yeah, 20s.
She put in work throughout her years.
Yeah.
In that. But back to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
I
So
love
just
it.
wanted to
That's
lay the
awesome.
foundation.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
really cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, because she comes with a lot of experience
Yeah.
from not her own personal experience, but the things that
Right.
she's needed to counsel people
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
and help
A
out.
lot of wisdom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like boy problems, all these different
Yeah.
things too.
Yeah, even
So-
like as a girl's security in herself, her identity,
Right.
and stuff. It's stuff that I had. Obviously, I had to go through it myself too. But then, I got taught as I was growing up how to become, a mentor, and help younger girls than me
right.
come up as well.
So it's already
you know?
in her,
So,
in her
Yeah.
DNA.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
all girls are taught that. Like,
Yeah.
they're not even taught their own self-esteem.
Yeah.
Let alone
Right.
like helping someone
Right.
else.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
She was kind of put in the spot to do that in a way,
Yeah.
right?
Your dad's a pastor, right?
My
Yeah.
dad's a pastor, so they always made sure that as I was as young as I could remember, I'd be involved in church or like, some involved with the youth,
In
in some way. And with that, with time, I grew into leadership and different things. So, yeah, it was
Yeah.
a lot.
That's good.
That's cool.
So, all right. So back to you guys' story when it comes to where you guys are at. Like, we're almost. I mean, it's only been 3 months,
It
right?
has been 3
So we're
months.
almost to
Crazy.
present time, literally. So then after Cabo,
Yeah.
There was something that happened in Cabo, though.
okay,
Uh-oh.
that is worth
Yeah.
mentioning. Let's go.
Oh, I got intrigued.
She's
So-
like, what?
So
She doesn't remember.
yeah. No. So she was gonna leave. It was
Oh,
it was
yes.
it was Monday. The event was over, and I was like, no, stay. I was like, I've like don't remember half the trip, and I was embarrassed about it. And I was like, stay, like let's hang out. So then we jet skied and actually got to know each other. We went to hang out with some other friends, and that's when you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Like you were.
You're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, 'cause
you
if
were
that didn't-
sober that day, like we just got
Exactly. Like if that didn't happen, like we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
true.
wow.
Yeah, because like we really.
So you
yeah.
saved yourself so
Yes.
much.
I woke up in the morning and I remember I reached to the side and there was a Hard Rock letter. I have it in the room over there, and it said, "Plan your stay list." And then I saw that and I was like, "I'm gonna see if she wants to stay." That's how it happened.
Oh my
It's literally
God.
just like a thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you texted me like right away, and I was like, I don't know about this. I literally called my mom.
Phone a friend. Yeah.
I called my mom. I think I called someone else, and I was like, "Is this weird if I stayed?" Like, because
you already
I
had-
didn't know you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
You
know
were gonna leave that day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then what? How did you?
Just change the flight.
Change the flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, for you to be able to say like yes, that was kind of like, okay, did you feel something like, okay, I want to get to know him a little bit more as well? Or
You
just
know-
like, we're in Cabo, make the best of it? Like,
Yeah, I think I was kind of.
I turned my sales game on. It was me, you, and Shy sitting at a table, and remember I had to sell you. That was
Yes,
it.
you
I had to
did.
sell you on stage.
Yeah,
Really?
and like.
a salesman selling a sales
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to say this, but he ended up like paying for me to stay, which like made it a lot easier for me because I was
Okay.
like,
Oh,
that's
okay.
too expensive.
Well, obviously.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, I'm not gonna spend like I don't know how much money to spend a day with this guy I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but if he's gonna pay for it,
Exactly.
like I'll
Let's go.
I'll get to
Hey,
know him.
Best
I
flight I
mean-
ever bought.
Kudos,
Best
bro.
flight.
I mean, what
That's a boss
from
move.
what I see
Yeah.
is that you're very down. Like I'm a down
Yes.
She
for
is
anything.
like, yeah.
So
You're his ride or die.
yeah,
100%.
so I'm very
Yeah.
like
She's been
that
watching my
too.
content.
I'm very like that too.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
he gives me an idea. Oh, why don't we do that? I'm like, let's do it.
okay,
Like,
Let's
Let's
figure it
go.
out.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
That
we're the
keeps-
same.
Yeah, I love
you know?
that.
Yeah, that keeps
Like,
things
as long
interesting.
As I don't
Yeah.
have to be the one bearing the brunt of it all. Like
Right.
in
Yeah.
regards like planning and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll show up.
That's
Yeah.
what I do too.
That's funny.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love
You're
it.
the planner?
Totally.
It's funny because
For real.
on our way here, we were talking about it. Like
Yeah.
how when it's like trips that obviously plan with time and stuff, I'm the one that does
Yeah.
it. Like he gives me the green light, okay, we're going. I'm like, okay, I'll look for the hotel, I'll look for the flight,
Yeah.
I'll look for everything, restaurants, everything.
I don't like doing any of that. I like to
He
show up.
doesn't, yeah.
Pay
all
for it
he
and show
does,
up.
That's
all
how my
he
buddies
does
are.
while we're in the destination is the Ubers.
No, okay, so cool. So you guys ended up staying that extra day. That kind of saved, I guess, what would
Put
potentially
us on the
become.
path.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and
we were
then
chatting every day.
what a lot of people obviously don't know is that you guys don't live in the same state. Like
No.
you guys
Not
don't
even on
live
the
in the
same
same coast.
hemisphere.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
Time change.
Yeah.
and
what's it
everything. Oh my
like
God.
getting to know one
Yeah.
another
from a long distance?
from such a long,
Yeah.
like not even the time zones coincide.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll go on this one.
Yeah.
It's like the foundation of our relationship because she's so far away that we're always hopping on Zooms or FaceTimes or texting.
Yeah.
And we're really getting to know each other. And it's always been like that. So it's been really good. Also, when she wakes up, it works out for me because I like wake up around 5 or 6 and she's like waking up. So timing wise,
Yeah.
we wake up at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
And
Because I wake up at 7 or 8.
yeah, we have movie parties where we'll like share it on Zoom and
Oh
we'll,
my God,
we'll watch
that's cool.
we'll watch TV together.
No way.
Yeah, it's been like a different experience.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been amazing though.
You really get to know the person.
Yes.
Without like. Yeah, you really get to know the person. And then I got to know him enough that I was like, okay, like now I want you to come meet my people. So he was in Cincinnati.
Wait, you skipped some stuff.
Oh,
But wait, before
Yeah, there's been a lot-
before you
there's
go
been a
into that
lot in
next step,
between, yeah.
So before you go, because I'm very interested in that like movie, like virtual movie watching situation. Like, what is that? Like, how does that work?
So
is that a
usually-
thing, or you guys just made it
You
up?
just
We kinda
press
made
it
it
at
up.
the same time and
Yes,
like
we've tried everything. We tried Zoom,
Oh my
God.
screen share. Sometimes like
What?
the platforms block it out.
FaceTiming.
Really?
Sometimes I'll wear an AirPods and then like mute her on the Zoom, like all this crazy
yeah.
stuff.
So
That's
you want to be able
crazy.
to talk while still like watching the movie and
Yeah.
hearing the movie. So
I have a solution. Just move to San Diego. We'll just watch the movie right there. What do you guys think about that, huh?
Or just move to Cincinnati. It goes both ways.
I'm not
huh?
opposed.
Hey, I
I'm
got
not-
you.
yeah.
I got you, Tess. I got you. No, but that's super interesting though, because I mean, I love the fact that you guys are just trying to make it work the best that you
Yeah.
can because
Yeah.
you guys are so far away, and it's understandable, right? Like you guys are in a stage where you're still trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
So it would be a crazy commitment
Yeah.
this early in
Yeah.
the game to kind of just like either of you really
Oh, yeah.
well,
to move.
and I told him like I would never move before I'm like engaged
Yeah.
because I'm like I'm not about to
yeah, for sure.
uproot my whole life
Right.
for
Absolutely.
somebody who's not actually committed, or like
Right.
maybe they are in their heart but hasn't like said
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
we're gonna do this thing.
Yep.
So we're dating, like we are officially dating, by the way.
For real? Is this like the first?
Announcement?
'Cause
Like,
is it on Facebook
No.
like status?
No, we're not-
Just like our close friends now.
oh
Okay.
my god.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, everybody else knows now.
This is live. This is live.
Is that-
Streamed to my YouTube channel. The internet just erupted, guys.
the internet is broken.
Yeah. After he came and met my family and my friends, like everyone last week, like we made it official.
It was 3 months exactly from
Yes.
June 17th.
which we did not plan.
We did not plan. It just
No.
happened.
It's
Okay,
like
but we'll
exactly
catch back
the-
up to that,
Okay,
to
okay,
making this
okay.
official.
You spilled the beans.
No, I love it. It's good. It's good because that'll make
Okay.
people stick.
I know.
That'll keep people still sticking
Yeah.
around
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
that part because that's exciting stuff.
That is
Yeah.
exciting.
I didn't know.
exciting.
I didn't know this. So this
That's
is
a
good.
We
big
wanted to tell
deal.
you in person.
It is.
Let's go.
I'll tell you in person.
I
yeah.
love that. So what was the part that she was missing that you were?
Okay,
Talking
so after Cabo and WealthCon, Vegas, we
Yeah.
went to North Carolina with the Beekmans.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they totally hooked me up. Like, they, like, planned dates. They brought us around. And, like, that's when I feel like we really, like, okay, we
Yeah, we
could
got to
probably
know
do
each
that.
other.
Yeah. So we hung out. There was that trip.
Yeah.
The next trip was where?
Oh, wait, you're here. San Diego.
She came to San Diego.
Yeah.
But not by herself. She brought her brother.
I did.
And so,
Smart.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I love
Yeah,
that.
so I love that.
Smart,
They both
yeah.
stayed here, like, with extra room, and we had another weekend.
Uh-huh.
And, like, we went to some country concerts. We did a bunch of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Super.
Oh yeah, I
cool.
remember seeing those posts.
Is your
Yeah.
brother older or younger?
Younger.
Younger.
He's very protective younger brother, though.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's
Yeah.
so good that you just
Yeah.
involved him.
Yeah, and I was,
Yeah.
I was open to it. I was like, come
Yeah,
on
he
through
was.
it.
I was actually wondering how he was going to respond. I was like,
I loved
"Hey,
it.
what if my brother came?" And he was like, "Oh, that'd be great." I was
Bring
like,
him on
"That'd
through.
be great."
I love that.
I want to meet the family.
Yeah.
What does your
exactly.
brother think?
He thinks well, okay, so my brother's a pretty harsh critic, all right?
Yeah.
So he basically never says anything good unless he's like impressed. But he gave him a score of like 8 out of 10. He had this whole interview with him,
Oh
which for
my
Rowan
gosh.
In Cincinnati, tell me
in
about it.
Cincinnati. So he when he heard that Chris was coming, he was like, all right, I need to sit down and have a talk with this guy. So he took my brother up on a walk. I didn't know anything that he was going to ask him. So they just went out on a walk together. He had this, apparently a whole...
Pretty long walk.
Yeah.
How old is he? How old is he?
He's
21.
21.
Great
Okay,
guy.
so he's a
Yeah.
okay. He's a
I
man.
love him to death.
All right.
That was hilarious. So he had this like whole like list of things. So I went shopping with my friends, and they went and like chatted, and he like wrote everything down on like this notepad. And anyways,
Wow.
I don't know, Chris, you can say if you want to share like what questions he asked, but and then afterwards, yeah, like. Chris really enjoyed it. I asked him
I
what
loved
his
it.
favorite thing about the weekend was. His first thing was my conversation with my brother.
Because it was so different. I've never done that, like
Yeah.
where I'm talking to someone's brother. Yeah, it was just,
Yeah.
it was different. It was
Yeah.
cool. It shows you really cared and shows
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
where you come from, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's
super
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I want to first off give you kudos for guarding your testimony and bringing
Yeah.
your brother,
Aw.
because obviously it leaves it up to so many, especially when you're in this walk that's not
Yeah.
easy, right? Like
Right.
this Christian walk, and I know that you're really strong in your faith.
Yeah.
So bringing them along and kind of guarding that, I think
Yeah.
that's awesome to
Thank
have
you.
done for
Yeah.
sure. And the fact that you respected that speaks volume
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
in where you're at, right? Like
Yeah, appreciate
it's
that.
not trying to do what these guys do, but more so respecting your space, respecting her,
Absolutely.
making her feel comfortable, so that you guys can get to know each
That was
other.
it, yeah.
So I love
Yeah.
that. That's kudos to you both
Yeah.
for that.
Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like family is so important in a relationship. So, like, whether if it was gonna work out as it is, I see it like you have to get along with the family.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the best case scenario. You
Yeah.
would like to get along with the
Yeah.
family, and
Because there's a
So-
lot of cases that
you don't want to
people
jump the
don't-
gun. It's like, oh yeah, I'm dating her, but I
Yeah.
don't know her family, and I don't
Yeah.
care.
That's
And
a
it's
good point.
like,
Or my
Really?
worry is like I'm dating him. I think he's great. We're progressing, and then everybody meets him, and like they're like,
They all hate
see
him.
a red flag or something.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
I want to know that from the
Yeah.
very beginning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think Chris is amazing, but
Yeah.
you can always be blind in love and like
Right.
blind in
Of course.
attraction.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
I was like, people need to meet him and like approve
Yeah.
because I trust my people.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
The people back home love Chris Luna. they
they
love me.
actually really do.
They love me. And I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
gotta
And
love
I told you
awesome.
I wanted to know everything about you. That includes family, friends. Literally, I want to know everything about you. So,
That's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
can I? How old are you again?
I'm 25.
25.
35.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little, but that's never been a thing for
No.
you. Like it's like I
No.
thought, yeah.
Well,
Her friends, she's the most likely to date an older man.
yeah.
Really?
Really?
You know, like
How
the most-
funny.
You want that superlative?
Yeah.
Who's the most likely to?
Yeah, it said
Yeah.
like they did a PDF presentation. It actually said it.
That's
Like interested in
hilarious.
older
Oh
men.
my
This was
yeah.
yesterday,
gosh.
right?
Yeah, my
That's
friends and I
hilarious.
did like this, like we give like mini presentations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made hidden
So that's always been a
clubhouse.
thing.
Well,
Or-
not. I've dated guys my age, but I just never like emotionally,
Right.
spiritually, whatever they weren't
They're
like
just not
where
there.
they needed to be.
Yeah.
And so all my friends were like, I could just see you dating like an older guy. And
That's wild.
You're very mature. That's why.
yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. You need
That's
somebody
right.
to match your maturity.
That's
and
I
Yeah.
need someone to like be able to like lead me because like,
Right.
Right.
men and women like relationships like lead me in like all the areas, And
Right.
if I'm having to like pull somebody, it's just
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's
like, all
good.
right.
That's
No.
good.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Which that's not a hot topic, right? Like a woman saying nowadays
Yeah.
for their man to lead them
Yeah.
is
it's
not
normal.
not normal. So what has made you come up with that? Like that's what you want.
This episode is brought to you by our partners at Wealthy Creator, the go-to experts for entrepreneurs looking to elevate their personal brand and unlock new income streams. With their proprietary Pineda method, you'll get a tailored blueprint You'll master content production and discover monetization secrets that work. Don't just work hard, work smart, and let Wealthy Creator guide you to your next level of success. Visit the link in the description below to learn more and start transforming your personal brand today. Now back to the episode.
Great question. So I grew up where it was probably what people's typical opinion of like patriarchy is, right? Like where it's just like men being like
The head.
powerful and just like kind of like beating down the women. Like that's how I grew up, right?
Really?
And so I had a very hard time with the word submission. I was like, but it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Lord, let me read this and understand
Yeah.
what you mean by this, because it can't mean what I know it to mean, like from my
Yeah.
experiences, right? So I dove into it. I like did research on it. I prayed about it a lot, and the Lord started to change my heart. And he was like, I've created this as like a man to lay down his life for his wife. And the best thing his wife can do to allow him to do that is to submit to his leadership, right? Like, and a man will make decisions for the best of his family and his kids. So I actually reversed it in my head, and now I'm like, oh, I want to be the woman.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like laying everything down and like having to sacrifice everything for my family first.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to just like lead where he follows and where
Yeah.
the guy follows, and I think God created us feminine and masculine.
Yeah.
So that's a safe place for me to be, because it's where we're sitting like our created being.
Yeah.
And as women and as men, because I think men were made to lead. You see a lot of
Right.
men nowadays in culture who are so passive and
Yeah.
they're so unhappy.
So
Yes.
soft.
Because they're soft. They don't have any like backbone. They're women
Right.
just
Oh my
like
gosh.
They're wearing
flopping
skirts,
around.
literally wearing skirts.
Yeah, literally wearing skirts. Yeah, yet sometimes still married. And I'm like, how
Right.
does that? I don't understand that. But yeah, so I guess it's like a progress for me to the point where I started going on dates, and I started to realize I don't have a type, like look-wise.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I just need them to be really masculine. Like I need them to be
Oh my God, how
strong,
funny.
leader.
Yeah.
And I just realized that's what I was attracted or not attracted to in people.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
I think, and I can relate so much from
Yeah.
that, because before we started dating,
Yeah.
one of my hugest pet peeves was seeing a guy that his yeses weren't yeses and no's weren't no's. You
Yep.
got me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, if you decide, like, okay, every now and then you can change your mind. Sure. Especially, but on big decisions,
Yeah.
if you say yes, stick to it.
Yeah.
You got me? Like,
Yeah.
don't doubt yourself after that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's so masculine for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's so attractive.
Yeah.
So that was one thing also that I saw of him. Like, it was either yes or no, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I could
Yes.
trust on his decision that he's not
Yes.
going to change it.
Love
that.
You know? Because I have that mentality.
Yeah.
You know, I have my parents that my dad has always been the head of the household. You know, he says the final say. Obviously, like between my parents, they will talk and
Yeah.
you know, agree, whatever. My mom very submissive, and obviously I learned from my parents, like, okay, I want this in my marriage, you know, my future marriage.
Yeah.
I don't want this, I don't want
Yeah.
that, whatever. So I knew exactly what I wanted, in the sense, I guess I didn't have a type either, but I did know
Yeah.
I needed a man.
Yes.
A man that was good financially, had a vision for the future, that wasn't like a lazy bum
Yep.
playing video games every day. Like, that's such a turn
Yeah.
off for me.
It's such a
huge
turn
turn off.
Yeah.
And
No
like,
video games here.
He doesn't have any.
He ain't got no
Yeah.
Xbox.
Same.
so,
I noticed that actually.
That's my Xbox.
There you go.
and it's just those just little things of that piece that was like, okay, he needs to have these things for
Yeah.
me to be like, okay, you're a man.
Yeah.
At the end of the
You know,
day,
like-
like what you correct me if I'm wrong, what you guys really are after is that security.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
100%.
Feeling safe,
Yeah.
feeling secure
Yeah.
Protected.
in every area.
Like,
yeah,
I don't have
protected.
to drag you to like go work or go
Right.
Yeah.
hustle. Like, you know,
Yeah.
make us a successful home.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted, and I'm very like broken record with this, but I've always said I always wanted a man that had a vision, but that wasn't there yet. I wanted to be from
To build with.
To build
Yes.
with.
We've been talking
From
about
the
that.
start.
Creating an empire together.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted someone that had a vision.
Yep.
But he was still in the beginning stages.
And I love that, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, for I'm here, I made it, I want to be like, I was
We.
here with him.
Yeah.
You know, like,
The
we did
journey.
it together.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we worked it together. Like,
Yeah.
I was his support. We were a team.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it's turned out. You got me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I agree.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
And that's the best, really, because, you know, for us guys, if we're already there, even for women as well that are successful as well, if you already made it, quote unquote, to a certain degree of like status or whatever,
Yeah.
it's harder for you to really digest someone's motives and
Yeah.
really see what their motives are.
Yeah.
Like you have to weed out like through a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
Whereas if it happens organically before any of the
Yeah.
success, before of the, you know, the glory days, right? And you're building together, you can both like,
Yeah.
like we did this together,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Which is the biggest blessing for
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
love that you
that.
guys are also on that similar.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like,
I-
he's already successful when I
But
met
I
him.
feel like I'm just getting started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
many
Really
things
do.
that like he's dreaming about, going towards,
Yeah.
things that we've talked about, like growing together. Like it's just really
Yeah.
cool. And I totally agree. Like I think I saw like a reel or something about that. I was literally talking about that exact same thing. Like a shallow woman wants just a rich man, or like
Yeah.
a man who's made it. Like a quality woman wants to build it with him.
Yes.
And I think that's
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Super
true.
cool.
'Cause-
And you're super supportive,
mean-
by the way, and everything
Yeah.
I try and do.
Thanks.
So it's good. It's been
That's
great.
awesome because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like once the man feels supported by you know your partner,
We can take
it's
over the
like
world.
the
Sky's
sky's
the
the
limit.
limit.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so
Uh-huh.
it's like I want to be there.
Yeah.
You know,
You
Yeah.
agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys that don't have the support from their wives or their girl, their woman, whatever, and they don't really rise up to the occasion
Yeah.
because as men, we long for that.
Yeah.
We long for like, hey, babe, you're doing a good job. Like, what can I do to help you
Yeah.
get to that even
Yeah.
like faster?
Yeah.
Like, because you're driving as a team. One of the things that we founded on, other than of course having Jesus in the center of our relationship, is understanding that we are a team
Right.
and that it's us against the world. It's
Yeah.
not us against us.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why it's very rare you
Yeah.
ever hear us like fighting or
Yeah.
it's like, sure, we'll have disagreements and we'll go back and forth and come up with a conclusion. But even at
Yeah.
that, because I'm the head of my house, at the end of the day, we can talk about something, but my decision at the end of the day is the
Yeah.
one that we're going to go with. And then I have to take the brunt for whatever happens
Yeah.
because of that
Right.
decision.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Whether it was a good decision or a bad decision. And
Yeah.
that's why it gives me the fear of God to make sure that I make the right decisions for
Yeah.
my family.
Yeah.
Especially now that we have kids. Because,
Yeah.
you know, when it was just us two,
Yeah.
it was easier for me to make decisions. It's still hard because I'm still responsible for her,
Yeah.
for her well-being, for us and all of that. But now that we have kids, it's even more of a burden,
Yeah.
right? So one of the things that I did, I remember that probably one of the most crucial decisions that we did is move to Charlotte from Miami, where we left all of our family,
Yeah.
our church, everything that we knew.
Yeah.
We left it over there, and it was in hopes to, you know, start to build a foundation for our future family at that point.
Yeah.
And that was a big decision because she had lived in Miami all her life.
I mean, that's all I knew.
That's all she knew.
Literally.
That's
You
hard.
know, we were basically leaving the church that we grew up, that we met
Yeah.
in, everything
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
knew. And then, of course, being the ride or die that she is, she's like, okay, let's do it, but let's pray about it. So
Yeah.
we prayed about it for a year, you know,
Yeah.
like it wasn't like a spur of the moment type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yep.
We took our time,
Yeah.
made sure that that's what we wanted. And we definitely felt, you know, that it was
Yeah.
God's will for us
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, we had to pray independently and together to make sure that that was the right decision. And if it would have not worked out, it was on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because it worked out, it also on me.
Yeah.
But because we made the decision together, we
Yeah.
came together as a
Yeah.
unit. So that's something that I feel like in life you guys are also going to make decisions together, and it's going to be, you know, beautiful when you're able to say, like, we did this together,
Right.
and you know what? It wasn't just us,
Yeah.
but we had God's input in that.
Yeah.
Right. I
Right.
think to piggyback on the whole like you work as a team, especially once you're married. Like I find so much, especially when the wife is still, you know, she has her job or she has her career, like there is a line between the husband and the wife of like, oh, but you have to be making more money than I do, or if I'm making more money than you do, then you're slacking. You know, it's like, why is that
Right.
comparison? Like, I mean, in our perspective, it's like my money is your money and vice versa. You
Yeah.
get me? Like, it shouldn't be a competition who brings
Yeah.
more money home.
Yeah.
It's the same house. It's the same food like we're buying for both of us.
Yeah.
It's everything's together.
Yeah.
Everything's a
I love
team.
that.
So it's like, why is there so much fights between relationships nowadays with money?
Well,
You got me?
that
And
usually I can answer that kind of because as men, we already know almost by default that we're meant to be the providers, no matter what,
Yeah.
right? So whenever we feel, and I say we, and I'm saying men in general,
Yeah.
I don't feel this way, but if a man is insecure because the woman is making more money, it's because he's insecure. It's not because, you know, at that point he might feel less of a man because he's not fulfilling what he feels the duty as a man is by being able to provide and be the person that brings the money and all these different things. So at the end of the day, I feel like a man that feels that way, it boils down to insecurities that they have to deal with internally.
It just doesn't help either when the girl or the woman is also like nagging on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You get me?
Feeding that.
I want
Like-
peace in the home,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Peace is
Yeah,
huge
it's
for
like
me.
that's not your that's your man. You should be like uplifting him,
Yes.
affirming
Yeah.
him, and you know, don't bring him down.
Yeah, perfect example actually. Jenny is like all of a sudden now like blowing up on the internet. Like her reels are blowing up. She's
Yeah.
getting
Same.
a million views, a million plus views all the time. And I have a friend who owns an agency for like influencers and stuff. And we were talking. I'm like, man, you know, Jenny is really good at this. People are loving her.
Yeah.
Let's try to see if we can like monetize this some way, shape, or form. And then he's an influencer himself. So he's like, dude, she can make some really good money doing this.
Yeah.
And she's like, she can technically become your sugar mama. Ever since then, I've been calling her my sugar mama. I'm like, babe, well, let's do whatever you got to do. I want to stay at home. Obviously, jokingly, because I can't stay at home. I love to like work and all of that.
Yeah.
But just to say that at the end of the day, like I would love for her to make more money than me.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
possible, if it's a money situation, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm not, you know, I know who I am.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what defines me isn't my production.
Yeah.
What defines me is what we together collaborate to this
Yeah.
generation and our kids and what we leave to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Right?
that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think a huge factor in when you're in a relationship is like you should see some progress between the relationship. And it's like, are you giving me more value to my life to help me personally in my character, in my mental life, in my spiritual? You know, are you giving me more value or are you degrading
Yeah.
what I
Are you
am
adding
when
or
we met
subtracting from my life?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the point.
So
Love
it's
that.
like you always have to analyze, especially like in your stages. It's so good to just analyze your relationship.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's say 3 months has passed. Okay, how much have we grown?
Independently. from one another.
Independently
And
and together.
Yeah.
You
Emotionally,
know,
physically, spiritually.
Yeah.
in every area. You got me?
Well, you're more swole now. I'll tell you that.
Because of her. I'm like,
You're like, I gotta get
protect
right.
her.
I gotta get right.
I started doing kickboxing. In my head, I'm like, I
I gotta
gotta protect the
protect her.
family. That's why I did it. You didn't know that.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not
you
about
see?
me. It's about you.
Damn.
Adding value in
Yeah.
that area, you know?
Yeah.
I started the coaching program. When you told me,
Which I did not know.
you did not know
at
that,
all.
but you left me a voice memo one time, and you're like, "You're going to be so good at this." You were just like, I was like, "Whoa, I needed to hear that," and I literally started it right after that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
these things.
I didn't know
it's
that.
So much
such-
fruit in just 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine 3
Yeah.
years. Imagine
Yeah.
3 decades.
Well, and I hadn't posted on social media in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I felt
Really?
weird about posting again. And I was like, but I always felt like the Lord was calling me to have a ministry of some kind in my life. And I've always been like, what is it? I've tried 1,000 different things.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just feel like I need to start posting on social media again. And just like, I feel like I'm confident enough in who I am to like be there now.
Yeah.
Before I was not. And you encouraged me because you were like,
Yep.
don't, because I was like, oh, what do people
You're in
think
your
that
head.
I haven't?
You're in your head.
Yeah, I was in my head. And he was just like, just go for it. Like, who cares? Like, if it's
Yeah.
silly or if it's whatever. And
Yeah.
so I started posting again.
I'm so happy that I
Yeah.
got you out of your funk of 5 years.
Yes, yeah.
That's
So-
cool.
5-year hiatus.
What makes me think is like I've always, since we met, he's always been the I don't care what people think, and I was the opposite. Like
Yeah.
Very reserved.
I was, very reserved, very
Yeah.
quiet. I would not like. I was just not open like that.
Yeah.
Like friendly still,
Yeah.
normal, but I would be more comfortable with people that I already knew. You got me?
Yeah.
I would be more closed off with strangers or
Even with posting.
But even true. But just in general, whether the person knew him or not, he just didn't care what you thought, because it's just the level of security he has for himself. So that it was an area that I lacked in.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
So with time, it started.
Rubbed
Don't
off.
get me wrong, I still kind of care,
Yeah.
but not as much.
Check you and he's like,
Then he'll tell me, he's like,
Yeah.
just do it. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? I'm
I
like,
love
you're
that.
right. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
Yeah.
gives me a reminder of like, you're right. I
Yeah.
shouldn't
Love
care.
that.
You know,
And now you're
So,
seeing,
like,
starting to see success on social media
Yeah.
too. So
Which is-
just like,
and he keeps
So cool.
pushing me. He's like, just keep on doing it, just
He's
2
like-
a day. And I'm like,
Two a
oh my
day.
God.
he's like, I need another rollie.
I need another rollie, sugar mama. I need another rollie. Yeah, so it's been awesome to
Yeah.
see like her development and actually getting acquainted with, you know, doing something for herself as well.
Yeah.
Because right now she's like doing so much and building with the kids and all of
Yeah.
that at home, which
Yeah.
is a huge
See that, yeah.
responsibility and
It's
all
a
these
lot of
things.
work.
A lot of
Yeah.
work.
Full-time job.
But not
Yeah.
something that's of our own since
Yeah.
we started to build
Right.
our business. But
Yeah.
no, I love how we literally transitioned into cash flow without even saying cash
Yeah.
flow. You saw that?
Yep.
That's how good you guys are. You totally got into cash flow.
Wow.
So, I mean, so okay, so you guys said already that you wanted to build something maybe together, create an empire. Like, what do you guys like? What's up in the air right now that you guys
I mean,
wanna
it's
talk
okay
about?
to share. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm
right. If it's, we don't want to spill the beans.
So we start filming a podcast together.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Nice.
and we've been
That's his idea.
Yeah, we
Obviously,
were just
yeah.
doing it virtually and in person,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just building a bunch of bank content, and we'll use that to
Yeah.
help a lot of people. We believe.
Yeah. Well, on the podcast, well, can we say what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Believer.
Oh
and
my
so
God, I
it's
love
really
it.
cool. This was
It's a
all
good
his idea.
It's a good dynamic.
Yeah, because You want to go?
I grew up in the like Catholic church, kinder to 12th grade. Like
Yeah.
that was my faith. Felt like I lost it in my 20s. Got really lost. Felt like spiritually confused, lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you've been practicing being a Christian for how long? Since you're 14 or so?
I was like, yeah, I dedicated my life to Christ at like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
like
10
this whole dynamic, we've been like talking things through, and it's been really cool.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
like has kind of like a more fresh perspective of
Yeah.
like dedicating his life in adulthood versus like
Yeah.
me, like I've grown up with this.
Yeah.
So I might know more of like the Bible just because
Yeah.
like, I've been studying it for longer, but he has like that like new fire
Yeah.
that he's like asking the right
And
questions.
it's different
stuff.
perspectives that maybe
Yeah.
you guys can just talk about. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's on the DL, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we're doing together, and
Yeah.
You encouraged me to travel a lot. We started doing a lot more
Yeah.
trips and events.
I told him we
Yeah.
should
Together
travel.
or separate
We're
together?
like twins.
Yeah.
I swear.
Where are we going next?
Where are we going
Yes,
next?
he was not a traveler.
Not
I'm a
at all.
total
For
homebody. I can just hide
nothing.
up
No.
here for
Yes, that was
Like-
me.
months.
That was me.
He was the
Until I
type-
discovered the power of traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I guess when we met and we were dating already, even married already, like he would be like, but traveling is just a waste of money. Like we can be working on something better and you know,
Using
like
that money
using
for
that
something.
money.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like there's a whole world to see. Like
Yeah.
you know how much your mind expands from exploring different
100%.
cultures
Yeah.
and just the life, you know, how life is outside of our own
Yeah.
cities and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you know,
That's
so
true.
I think
No, it opens. The thing is that for me, I try to monetize everything. Like for me, going out to some country or some other place that I've never been to or whatever, it reignites me. It's like, okay, I just had so much fun. I have to go earn it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
Or it just gives me the energy to pursue more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Bring
okay,
like rest into your
right. So
space.
be
Yeah.
able to also get rest, but also feel like, okay, I want to do this more now. So let me go
Yeah.
out and work and make it. And then I know now my wife loves it. So I want to make sure that give her the life that she deserves and be able to do that. Right.
Speaking
So
of watching your content, I actually told you about this reel that I saw you make about you wanted to give Jenny a rich husband. Is that,
oh yeah,
You did send me
like
that.
me falling asleep. Me falling asleep. Yeah. So
My favorite was the golf one, where it's like,
oh yeah.
oh my god.
that was good.
You'll see all these reels down in the description, by the way.
Link in bio.
We can buy- no, but I love that. So, okay, so you guys are doing this podcast. That's
Yeah.
amazing because at the
Yeah.
same time, not only are you guys creating
Yeah.
content for other people to learn from your guys' experience, but you guys yourselves are learning about each other in a
Exactly.
different
Yeah.
light as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how has that been when it comes to like where you guys are at in your faith? Because you're technically more advanced because you've had so many more years. How has it been to kind of like share that with him, and how
Yeah.
has it been for you to kind of receive that, like where you're at with that?
Well, I think I'm gonna give you an opportunity to share like what your point was, because a lot of people might think it was me, but it's not me.
Totally not you,
So
yeah.
So
Oh, you want me to go first?
just share like a little recap so that
Yeah, so I went to this size seminar back in January, and it's about like spiritual growth, working out, all the stuff, relationships, and you pick like corners of your square on what you're lacking. And for me, it was spiritual. I realized this back in January when I went to this event in Vegas, actually. And then so I was like, okay. And then I went to the second event, which was a 7-day seminar in Houston, no phone. And I was like, man, I really need to like find God, find my faith, right? Because I grew up Catholic. I believed in God. I'm not atheist, but I felt this disconnect. And I was
Something missing.
Yes, I was turning to alcohol, drugs in my 20s, and just really just lost. And I was really successful, but I felt lonely, just really, really lonely. Couldn't like connect with people. So I knew I needed to fix it. And then I meet this kid named Liam, who now works for me. He's my sales guy. And we're sitting down. He was tracking me down. I didn't answer his call at first. I was like, I don't have time for this. We're sitting down at Starbucks finally after he called me like 4 or 5 times. And there was something about him. I was like, it was the Holy Spirit now, looking back on it. The Holy Spirit's in him. And I'm like, okay. And then he starts inviting me to church. And I hadn't gone to a Christian church. He was just like, hey, meet me at College Avenue. We're going to go to church. I thought we were going to a Catholic church, you know? Mass.
What
yeah.
you're used to.
What I'm used to.
Yeah.
And so I show up there. I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. We're like singing. There's like a pastor, and there's like they're motivating me. I'm like, wait, what is this? And then he said, I had no idea.
For real? That was your first interaction ever with a Christian church?
Yes, and I didn't even know like the difference.
Wow.
At the time. So we start going, and then it's just. My faith has grown tremendously since then, and it's been really nice to see, and I feel more fulfilled. I feel peaceful.
And how long has that been?
Since
Since that one?
I would say like May or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I met him in April, so we started going a little bit after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool. That's crazy because it's, God is a God of timing, you know, and everything falls at the right time. So it's crazy how it started for you before you met her.
Yeah.
Like right before in
You
time.
get me?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously,
Because-
in the sense of like, God wanted you aligned first in this
Yes.
part.
100%.
Yeah.
Last September, you just posted a photo on Instagram where
Yeah.
you were at the MGM. I was standing in that same
the
spot.
same
We were
spot,
there
yeah.
at the penthouse party together.
Yeah.
I had left early, but like if God had us meet that night, like we would not be dating. I was not ready for you.
Really?
I was not ready for you.
Wow.
I needed that year. I grew a lot over the
Yeah.
last year. And you could tell by how I communicate with you and how calm I am and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
So anyways,
Yeah.
it's crazy, God's timing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, how has that journey been?
So
Helping,
it's really,
guiding.
It's really interesting because, like, for me, I always thought I like date a guy who's been in his like
For a
faith
long
for
time,
a long
yeah.
time. Yeah, like oh, he's gonna know all the things more than
Yeah.
I'm gonna like know like every scripture in the Bible,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, that was just like
How
my
funny.
perception, right?
She's the same.
They really are twins.
Yeah, literally twins. Literally twins right now. Like,
so-
you guys swap and we would know who's who.
Wait, is that actually your show?
I love that.
That's amazing.
So he was. I would say you were pursuing me after Cabo. Like he was texting me every day. We like
Yeah.
went on that date, all that stuff, and I kind of felt myself just going along with it. Which
Yeah.
I told him multiple times. I'm like, I don't know why I was because like normally I would not because I'd be like.
Be
thinking,
reserved.
like,
Cut it
okay,
off.
tell me, like, yeah, I'd just be like, well, if you don't love Jesus, like, no, you know?
Yeah.
But I think I knew, like, I think the Holy Spirit in me, and I knew, like, there was something going on. So that I just felt peace about getting to know him.
Yeah.
And so that led to the point where, you know, I got to see enough of like we actually like sat down, like had conversations about the faith thing. Like I actually had a conversation with him about it before we went on the date when he admitted it was a date on at NorCon.
Yeah.
I was like, so just so you know, this
Yeah.
faith thing. and I was like, just I mean, I'm happy to get to know you tomorrow, but just like
Yeah.
heads up, like this
Right.
is really
Yeah.
important to me. Yeah. Anyways, so like that was kind of the first time I brought it up, and then since then we started to get to know each other. I don't know how you perceived it, but I was definitely feeling like, okay, we're just getting to know each other as friends.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to try to make it this romantic thing because
Yeah.
like I want to make sure that the Lord's
Yeah.
blessing is on it, right?
Yeah.
Like the Lord is like directing me there. But I just kept feeling a peace in myself on like every step that we took
Yeah.
and everything I started to see in him. I haven't told you this, but I would pray certain things. I'd be like, or not pray. I'd be like, I need to see these things in him, and then without telling him, I start to see them.
What are the things?
I can't. I don't know.
You guys have never clearly have seen it.
Pray. Let the Lord tell you.
See, that's what's great about
Yeah,
having
no.
Jesus. Like, I don't have to tell you, but he can tell you.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
awesome.
can think of some of the
The Holy
things
Spirit
already.
is a snitch.
Straight
It's a
up.
fact. That's a fact. If you ask, you shall tell.
Yeah.
No, I love that though.
Yeah.
That journey's been cool, I guess, for you guys. It's just, I think it's like you guys have that different dynamic where you guys are in different locations geographically,
Yeah.
right? You weren't 100% I guess because I feel like a lot of girls, Jenny included, you have this mold of what the guy you're gonna marry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then God has other plans sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because for Jenny, obviously being the fact that she's a pastor's daughter,
Yeah.
she was
Oh
probably
my
supposed
God.
to marry a
Yeah.
pastor,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
I grew up thinking I will be in ministry.
Yeah.
Like that would be my job, you know, my whole life, and you know, involved in ministry. Don't get me wrong, I still do believe at some point we are gonna get into like
Heavier ministry,
heavier ministry. Not sense that we're gonna be pastors, but that we're gonna
unless God says so.
but be able to build
Yeah.
like the kingdom,
for sure.
Yeah.
you know, in some way, shape, or form.
Could be in the form of
You
the
get me?
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 You know,
Well,
we just don't
I'm
know.
also on Wealthy Kingdom.
Same.
I
Yeah.
started
Yeah,
my-
so it's funny that you bring it up because once Ryan started talking about it, it's something, it was like bing.
Yeah.
Because for a while, I'm like, I mean, after I had to change my mindset once we met, that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to marry a pastor. You know, it's a businessman who I'm marrying, who I'm going to get with. And then thinking, I was like, along the line, I was like, okay, so when are we going to get into ministry? Because I think some point as believers, we do have to give back to the kingdom, you know?
Yeah.
And that was always something that was lingering to me. I'm like,
when
where,
How.
what church, how,
How.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And when the wealthy kingdom came up, I was like, well, hello. I'm like, this,
timing, man.
this
It's
is it. You
Yeah.
know, like this has to be it.
Yeah.
No, and the
know?
crazy part is that I was somewhat involved in the birth of, not involved in, like, I saw it how it birthed Wealthy Kingdom. Because, like, Brian, we've, built a relationship to where he's entrusted me with certain things.
Yeah.
And he sent me, like, the business plan, the plan for
Yeah.
Wealthy Kingdom before it was now what it is.
Wow.
Before. And I helped pray about it, all
Yeah.
these different things. So that's when God started reigniting in me to serve in this area
Yeah.
of what it is ministry, because I've been so focused on just like business and
business,
building.
yeah.
Because we had come from Miami, we were living a life where most of our life revolved around serving in ministry
In church.
and kind of
yeah.
someone neglecting our family life and kind of neglecting
The
business
success.
and all of that
Yeah.
stuff.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's crazy how God works, because it's evident that people will follow easier someone who is of success and has some sort of material and physical success
Yeah.
versus someone who's just preaching the gospel, right?
Yeah.
Like you can know the Bible in and out,
Yeah.
and you'll have some level of authority,
Yeah.
but unless you also have the material aspect of the
Yeah.
fruit of knowing the God that owns all the gold and silver,
Yeah.
then it's hard for you to get that message across. And that's why I think, us included, but also Ryan, that he's growing so much in business and in faith simultaneously. He's going to have more authority than many other rich people, just because he's going to be able to present God in a different light. It's like, no, this is the God I serve, and this is why.
Yeah.
You
I
know
have
what I'm
all
saying?
of this because of
Because
my
it
faith.
it goes back to
You know?
him.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because as believers, I mean, the way that we think
They
is
keep
like,
saying believers.
it's good. It's good.
yeah.
It's like you have to know that everything that you have, you worked for it, but God blessed you with
Yeah.
it.
He's
God,
entrusted you with it.
He's entrusted
Yeah,
you with
100%.
it. So it's like you have to always acknowledge that you have to give back to Him.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
all back to Him. All the glory is to Him, not to us, like not to ourselves. Like obviously, it's just like faith. Faith works with action.
Yeah.
You can't say I
Faith
have
without
faith.
works is dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
100%.
you can't expect, oh yeah, I have faith, but not do anything about it. So you have to put in the work,
Right.
to then see God move or
Yeah.
open
It's like,
the doors.
have you guys heard of these people that's like, oh, I'm going to become a millionaire.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do all these things. I know them personally. I'm just not going to call them out by name. But there's people, I'm going to become this. I'm going to do this and that. And then they're still literally doing the exact
Yeah.
same thing every single day in
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
out. And it's like, they expect, I guess, God to deposit $1 million into their account
Yeah.
by taking the exact same actions.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, dude, like, no. And these are,
Yeah.
some of these people are family, people that I love. And I have to tell them, like, you're not gonna become a millionaire unless you do something else.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like you working in freaking whatever it is that you're working. I don't want to
Yeah.
give it away. It's not gonna make you a millionaire.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's it. Kind of irritates me, honestly.
I see that in sales too, because I'll have like conversations with people that want to join like the coaching program. They're like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna do these things. I'm like, okay, great. And we talk through the program. We're like, all right, so let's like get you started. And they're like, I need time to think about it. I'm like, dude, like,
You're contradicting yourself.
yeah, and it's the ones who say, like, I'm going to be a millionaire, like, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff, are the ones that don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
It's like,
Oh
okay,
my-
you're
all talk.
talking,
All
but
talk.
you're not
Yes,
doing
for sure.
anything.
Yes.
So, yeah,
That's
I do it all the
crazy.
time.
All the
Crazy.
time. Like, you literally see it for a living.
Yeah, like, I'm listening to the conversation, I'm like, he's not going to.
He's not gonna, yeah, if they're
He's not
too
gonna
hype
take
about
action.
themselves, it's almost,
Yeah.
you know what it is? I feel like they'll talk to hype themselves up to
Yeah, for
justify
themselves.
to justify their inaction.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I'm going to talk this big game to kind of make me feel good, like
Yeah.
fill up my ego to convince myself.
It's like it's a dopamine hit to them.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Oh
my
It's
God.
weird. But guys, I think like, I don't want to end it here. But I feel like we've reached it. I don't want it to die out. But I think we covered a lot of. Unless
did.
you guys have
You have
anything,
questions?
Do you have any
questions,
bonus thing? Oh, questions.
questions would be good.
Yeah. Let's see. What's the next phase for you guys? Right now, like you talked about Wealthy Kingdom, you're talking about you're growing you had Prohost, you're like
Yeah.
course, you're growing on Instagram. Like where do you see that going? What's your guys' next phase?
So next faith. Well, faith.
Balls, faith.
Yeah. Next phase, I guess, on a professional note. You know, we're starting a new studio, so.
Yeah.
It's going to be all revolving around short form and long form content, be
Yeah.
able to create with other people,
Which I
which is
love.
nice over there in Charlotte. You know, it's be a space for creators by creators in essence, Prohost Studios.
Yeah.
So all within brand. So I'm excited for that. Also, I'm going to be a lot more involved with the Wealthy Way
Yeah.
with Ryan and Brian and all of them
Okay.
in a different way, which
Okay.
I don't know if
It
I'm allowed
hasn't
to
been
say
announced
yet.
yet.
Okay.
So, but
Gotta
it's gonna,
wait to put this
but you'll see a lot,
podcast out
a lot
there.
more
That's
of
awesome.
me. It's gonna be
That's
great.
cool.
So I'm excited about that. You know, obviously seeing her grow,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in her social media stuff is awesome. And
Yeah, I think
her
that-
really finding her voice in that.
Yeah, I think it was a matter of like, it was always been talked about, like, oh, you should like, you know, put some videos out there and stuff. Like, he will always tell him, like, what's the niche, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it's so
I
hard.
just didn't know, like, I could throw marriage and mom life or
Right.
faith or whatever. But I'm like, I need to see the confirmation
Yeah.
of what's touching people, like what's
Yeah.
connecting with them.
That's cool.
You know, so I don't know. I think after the first 2-3 posts that I saw that went like viral, I was like, oh crap, okay. Like this
This
can
is
really
it.
happen. And then just saw the increase of following just happen. Like it got to the
Literally
point where it was
overnight.
like literally over 100 a day.
Wow.
Crazy.
It just went
Wow.
up
It
crazy,
still hasn't
crazy.
stopped since.
Yeah, it's still going.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I need to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
like
Right.
I never saw myself as an influencer. I don't think like it's still surreal to me. You know that I'm like
It didn't
I don't
happen
know.
like it happened by accident almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't on purpose, but then
I
it was
love
just
that.
him like just do it, just do
Yeah.
it. Like it's catching up. So I was like, okay, I can't let this pass by. Like
Yeah.
it's an opportunity
Absolutely.
Yeah.
where it can also be another way of exposing awareness. You know, the way, because nowadays marriage is is viewed so differently.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, let's bring it back to this.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
bring it back to the basics.
Yeah.
You know, like, so if I can do that, and then the same with like motherhood and parenthood, and how we, you know,
Marriage.
work things out together as a married couple and then as parents, you know, because it's
Yeah.
two different roles.
Yeah.
If I can bring awareness to that, then I'm all
Yeah.
for it. You
That's
know,
amazing.
so I think that's our focus as well. I mean,
Yeah, from
I
a
mean,
business standpoint, I think that's where it is. And then, like, you know, personally, you know, we have
And
two beautiful
the
kids. You know, we're going to be most likely homeschooling them unless
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
crazy happens where there's a big correction in our education system.
I was homeschooled, by the way. Did you know
Were you
that?
really? No,
Yeah.
I didn't know
you
that.
told me.
I did.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That's good. See,
I'm
she
an
turned out
advocate
great.
for it.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Fine.
Yeah.
Send us the curriculum. We're going to need it soon. But yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
get homeschooled, and
Yeah.
you know, so figuring all of that out with the
Yeah.
family aspect, and obviously as we chase all of these
Yeah.
big goals professionally, and
Yeah.
we want to be able to continue
Big
to do what we're doing
focus.
now,
Yeah.
like traveling together.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
big on whenever I have a, you know, like a speaking gig or something like that, like I want to take her as many times as
Yeah.
possible.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Eventually take the kids too. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be away from my family. Like I'm dreading literally
Yeah.
these next 13 days that we're going to be
Yeah.
away from the
Wow.
kids.
Yeah.
Even though I'm next to her, it
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
it easier.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, but-
you know, being away from the kids is tough. So
Yeah.
we got to build, you know, something around being able to bake the cake and eat it too type of
Yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
let's go do all these cool things
Yeah.
for work,
Yeah.
but also be able to do it with the family and make trips out of it and all of that
I
stuff.
think also it's cool like that. I mean, it just came to my mind. It's just like Grant Cardone. He takes his girls
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It-
So
it's
I
just
need
a
a
way
jet.
of like
I was
learning.
thinking the same the whole time.
I need a
Like,
jet, bro.
You're gonna need a jet, bro.
They learn from that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
by watching.
Yeah.
You see mom and dad doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the sky's the limit for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't limit them on a cubicle.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, no offense, a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like,
Which we've been there.
we've
Yeah.
been there, you know, and they can do it if they want to start off, you know, their early years of adulthood or
Yeah.
start
Right.
retail,
Yeah.
something, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, for sure, they're gonna
just
do
to
some
get that
hard
customer service
Yeah.
experience, you know, but they can see where they can get
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, so that's important why we want our kids to travel with us
Yeah.
too, not just on vacations.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now a big focus is the kids. It's just enjoying them because time flies.
Yeah.
You know, it flies.
Yeah.
Our son is 3. He just
Wow.
turned 3, so it's like
That's
How,
crazy.
how
That's
fast
How?
it went by. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also
That's
it's
so
like,
funny, yeah.
you know, now that we're going to be doing the podcast together, you know, more seriously, we're going to at least try this out for a whole year. So
Yeah.
if everybody sticks around for at least a year, you're going to get at least out of the very,
Well,
doesn't matter how many
yeah.
views, like we get 2 views and if literally you guys, like we're still going,
Every week.
you know, so we're going to commit to that. Right. And then let God be God in that,
Yeah.
But the idea there though is, you know, we have our independent things, like she has the social media
Yeah.
stuff. I have my coaching program. I have all these different things. But I want to make it to where these conversations that we're having with you guys and other people like you and be able to, you know, give other people a different view and bring back, you know, things to people's lives and their faith and all these things
Yeah.
to inspire them. All of the things that we're doing are basically to lead people to this right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
These types of conversations that hopefully, you know, empower someone to not give up, that hopefully empower someone to make a relationship work even though they're in different coasts, that hopefully allows people that are going through a rough patch in their marriage to,
Yeah.
you know, see it through and fight for that marriage. Or those kids that are, you know, in school and that are getting bullied or whatever it is that happens.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what all of these actions are leading to, right? Because
Yeah.
personally, if we were to stay in the same place that we're at from like say a financial place, like I'll be happy just where I'm at, right? Like, but the thing is that it's not promised, right? Like,
Yeah.
whatever we have going on now can, you know, dissipate and
Yeah.
God will take it away as easy as it gives it
Right.
to you type of
Yeah.
thing. And it's not to operate from a place of fear, but I'm grateful to where we're at
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm only pushing forward with more because I want to lead people to get more too.
Yeah.
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 That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
If I could, you know, get to up here, it's only so that I can grab people from down here to bring them up. But I can't lift them up if I'm not up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
I like
why
that.
if a lot of people, when I say I'll see you at the top, a lot of people don't know why I say that. But it's really because either I'm going to help you get up there or you're already there and I'm going to get up to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's my whole thing there. So,
I love that.
yeah. I don't know. That kind of answered your question, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Did you have any questions, Chris?
No, I've just been listening in. This has been great. This has been a cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited to see more of these come out for you guys.
For
And
sure.
I think these are topics that people love to talk about, and having them in one,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really cool.
It's a
because-
cool dynamic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very cool
Sure.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the like being able to do it
Yeah.
together,
In
Yeah.
person.
and it's not just one person, right?
Yeah.
Like I know it's gonna be cool when it's us two only as
Yeah.
well, but when we bring other people, I
Yeah.
think it's even better because it just feels like a regular
Yeah.
So
conversation.
we'll come out
Right.
to Charlotte and we'll do the same
Let's
thing.
go.
Yes.
In the studio.
We'll check back in
Yes.
6 months.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
there you
Yes.
go.
Month six
oh my
update.
God, yes. It's like
We'll
so.
see the whole
give me-
journey.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What's happened the last 3 months?
Yeah.
You're gonna love me even more.
Let's go. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to, I don't know, what do you do in podcasts?
I don't know. Share it.
Share it. Hit the like button. Make sure to comment.
Throw us
It
a
helps
like.
the algorithm and all that good stuff. God bless you guys. And as always, we'll see you at the top. Let's go.